Good evening, everybody. Good evening. It's JPR, and welcome to another hauntingly spooky video. Pokemon fans have always had a fondness for the unexplained, and who could blame them? So many of these games are littered with mysteries and loose ends, many of which we'll probably never know the answers to. So, on this spooky Halloween special, I'll be taking a closer look at every Pokemon region to find the biggest unsolved mysteries. As a matter of fact, I've been trying to solve the mystery myself lately. The mystery of why only 20% of you watching are subscribed to the channel! Yeah, really, it's kinda strange. If you guys like the videos, you should subscribe. That's what I would do at least. But, I guess we should get into the real mysteries now. How about that? In the Kanto region, the site of our first mystery couldn't be anything other than Lavender Town, specifically the Pokemon Tower. Pokemon Tower is the first burial ground featured in the series, home to the region's only ghost-type Pokemon, as well as the spirit of a deceased Marowak seeking revenge on Team Rocket. It also features a rival battle against Blue, who is definitely not there to grieve the loss of a dead Raticate. Yeah, that's not the route I was going down. You know why Raticate's not there? Because Blue said, oh wait, you're a Raticate and I'm trying to become the champion. There's a conflict of interest here. But farther up the tower is a more realistic yet often overlooked mystery, that being the possessed channelers that battle against you. When you encounter these channelers, they come up to you spouting all kinds of nonsense, like join us, or destruction, despair, or NASCAR 2005 Chase for the Cup isn't that good of a game. Just things that are completely off the wall and uncalled for. But when you defeat these trainers, they suddenly come to their senses. Many have theorized that because they regain consciousness after the battle is over, that it's actually their own Haunter and Ghastly that are possessing them. What makes this so spooky is that it implies that ghost-type Pokemon, even when caught, may not be fully controlled. What's weirder is that we've never seen an instance of this happening outside of Pokemon Tower, though. In the games, at least. In the anime, Pokemon possess people all the time. Perhaps the Pokemon Tower is home to an advanced form of ghost Pokemon, which also may be the reason why these are the only ghosts in the series that require the usage of the Sylph Scope to even fight against. Now, realistically, that's probably just because it would be a major hassle to make you get the Sylph Scope in every game just to fight ghost types, so it probably wasn't a feature worth bringing back, but this may unintentionally explain why the Ghastly here have the capability of possessing people. Due to the abundance of spiritual energy, perhaps the Ghastly in Pokemon Tower are, for lack of a better term, built differently. But still, it's never outright confirmed that it's the ghost Pokemon's doing. This could be Marowak's spirit or even just the evil aura of the tower taking over. The site of our next mystery is, well, technically not even in Johto, rather in an unknown area to the northeast of Johto. Of course, I'm talking about the Sinnoh Ruins, an event-exclusive location founded by ancient people who traveled from both Johto and Sinnoh. It's said to be hundreds of years old, but clearly due to the name was established after the renaming of the Hisui region, but maybe we'll see if Legends Arceus has anything to say about that. Most of the details about the ruins are left untold, but it's inferred that this place was built to commemorate the relationship between Arceus and the Unknown, a relationship that we still don't really know much about either. The only thing to do with the ruins is to stand atop the Mistry stage and choose for Arceus to recreate one of the creation trio in the form of an egg, something that Arceus is apparently unable to do anywhere else. But in order to do this, first he must show you his terrifying Google Images slideshow. I suppose the biggest mystery here is just what connects Arceus and Unknown so tightly. Sinnoh even has its own version of the Ruins of Alph, the Salacion Ruins, where countless Unknown and one of Arceus' plates, the Mind Plate, is found. The only message left here by the Unknown reads, friendship, all lives touch other lives to create something anew and alive. But in the Japanese games, as well as in the anime, it reads, when every life meets another life, something will be born, which admittedly is just the same thing, but a little catchier. Perhaps this alludes to the events of the Sinnoh Ruins, where the meeting between the Unknown and Arceus gives birth to the creation trio. Again, this is something that I'd love to get some greater clarification on in Legends Arceus. Hopefully it's not just a throwaway line. Hoenn has its fair share of unsolved mysteries itself, but I personally believe the biggest one concerns a Pokemon not even introduced in Gen 3, Regigigas. The Regis have always been one of my favorite groups of legendary Pokemon for the mysteries and lore surrounding them, but one particular inscription in the sealed chamber stands out among the rest, reading, long did we live here in this cave, all thanks to the powerful Pokemon living alongside us. Yet we sealed that Pokemon away, we feared it. If you have the courage, if you still hold to hope, open the door, for beyond it, the eternal Pokemon waits. Just rubbing the braille on my Game Boy screen sends shivers down my spine. Clearly this message refers to one Pokemon, not 3, yet this message exists in Gen 3 before Regigigas' introduction. Perhaps the Master Titan's introduction was planned all along. But that does beg the question, who were these people? Did they turn on Regigigas? How did they manage to transport it all the way from an underwater cave in southern Hoenn to the frozen north in Sinnoh? Could they be related to the mysterious Draconid tribe that's referenced in the remakes? Is this the same group of people that managed to seal away Groudon and Kyogre in the seafloor cavern? If the Draconids are behind this, perhaps their traveling to Snowpoint City is the reason behind their mysterious disappearance from the Hoenn region. I don't really expect to get any more info on this out of the Sinnoh remakes though, so sadly the theory may just end there. But speaking of the Draconids, Zinnia herself is full of mysteries. Who was Aster, the person her Whismur is named after? Where did she disappear to after the meteor was stopped? And most importantly, does she actually know about the existence of the multiverse, or was it just something she came up with on the spot? Seeing as how she's filled with knowledge, is the only character to ever mention the multiverse, and her theory seems to be right on the money, maybe she could be some dimensional traveler of some kind, but as with the previous mystery, this is one that is unlikely to ever be solved. In the Sinnoh region, our prime mystery revolves around the Old Chateau, arguably one of the most haunted areas in the entire Pokemon world. Not only does this manor house many ghost types, but actual human ghosts as well. In the dining hall, a ghost of an old man will observe the player as they enter the room and then float away to the left, only to disappear entirely. The ghost of a little girl can also be seen in a bedroom on the upper floor of the chateau. If the player attempts to enter the room the little girl was in, she too vanishes. Additionally, there's a picture frame with glowing red eyes in one of the bedrooms. If the player approaches this picture frame, the eyes will stop glowing. As soon as you turn your back to the frame though, the eyes begin to glow again. It's easily one of the most unnerving locations to be in, especially when you're trying to play your DS under the covers at 11 PM so your mom doesn't notice. What's spookier is that unlike many other ghost encounters in the Pokemon world, these are never explained in any detail. Even the reasoning behind Rotom residing in the television here is left up to interpretation. There are all sorts of theories revolving around Rotom and the ghost's presence here. Maybe Rotom was a friend of the deceased child. Maybe it just came here from the nearby Galactic building in Eterna City. Maybe the ghosts aren't even real people, rather apparitions conjured up by the mischievous ghost types living here. Some theories have even suggested that even Darkrai could play a role here. But those are all just theories. A sentence that I'm not going to finish. We have nothing concrete for this place that not just contains one mystery, but multiple mysteries. It truly is a very intriguing place, and I can't wait to see how it looks next month in the remakes. One of the most intriguing groups of characters in the entire franchise to me has always been the Shadow Triad. All we really know about them is that at some point in time, Getsus saved their lives, and they've remained eternally faithful to him as thanks. While not actually ghosts, I think, the Shadow Triad's swift ninja-like movements and their lack of words make their presence comparable to spirits, but sadly we never receive much information about them. They don't even appear in the anime to make things even harder. I for one have always wondered if the incident that Getsus saved the Shadow Triad from is somehow related to Getsus' right eye and right hand being severely wounded. At the very least, the newest Pokemon Evolutions episode tells us that this occurred sometime between when Getsus first met N and the beginning of Black and White. Aside from this mysterious event, the Shadow Triad also reveals to the player that Getsus had somehow obtained the Adamant, Lustrous, and Griseous orbs, inferring that he may have had a plan in place for the Creation Trio after his plot in Unova succeeded. Some have also noted that the Shadow Triad's appearance and way of standing somewhat resembles Zoroark, a Pokemon that is known to be capable of creating human-like illusions and even mimicking human speech. Zoroark is also closely associated with N in both pairs of Unova games, though admittedly this theory gets a little wacky considering that the Shadow Triad use their own Pokemon. I don't think it's a rule that a Pokemon can't own another Pokemon, but it's out there for sure. We've never seen anything quite like it. Regardless, even if they are just ninja-like people and not Pokemon, they remain as one of the more mysterious factions of Team Plasma. Now, the Kalos region is filled to the brim with all sorts of unsolved content, from the Lumiose Ghost Girl to the validity of the old gentleman's Horde of Faceless Men story, to even those unopenable power plant doors. But there's not really much to talk about with all of those. I know, everyone loves the Lumiose Ghost Girl, but what do you want me to say? Hey guys, there's this spooky NPC that appears, says one line, and never comes back. I think that's all there really is to it. It's hard to build a mystery other than who is this generic-looking NPC person. But have you ever heard the tragedy of Looker's Croagunk the Wise? I thought not. It's not a story that the professor would tell you. Looker, as he had for several games up to this point, makes a reappearance in X and Y's postgame, but he's a noticeably changed man. He no longer has his funny accent and no longer has his trusty Croagunk by his side. All we know is that Looker says his Pokemon died while on a case in the past, and he keeps a picture of his old partner on his desk. Pokemon Sun and Moon elaborates on Looker's past, revealing that one of his human partners died while on a mission to capture Guzzlord. Croagunk is not mentioned as part of this case, but it's possible that both Croagunk and Looker's co-worker were killed on the same mission. Regardless, the actual cause of death remains a mystery. Speaking of Guzzlord, its specific world in Ultra Space raises a lot of questions. The Ultra Ruin is clearly an alternate reality of Howley City, one that has been absolutely ravaged by the Ultra Beast's presence. The lone NPC here remarks on how not just the residents of Howley City, not just the residents of Alola, but everyone on Earth had to leave for other planets due to its attack. I think the true mystery here is this just one possibility in another timeline for Earth, or will all versions of Earth meet the same fate eventually, where a Guzzlord attack drives away all of humanity? The Ultra Ruin is very different from the other Ultra Beast worlds, which are clearly completely different realms with no Earth-like connections. Even if this doesn't happen to our Earth, it's spooky just thinking about how life as we know it can be completely derailed by an alien force, something completely out of our control. But even regular Alola is home to some spicy mysteries, including what else but another alien? A more human-like alien this time, an old man who appears to be stranded out in Hoenn Desert suffering from amnesia, will suddenly regain his memory of the last 30 years when you show him your Solrock or Lunatone depending on the version. When his memory is restored, he teleports up towards space. This old man is present in the original Sun and Moon games as well as the Ultra games, so he actually predates the Ultra Recon Squad as the first human alien in the series. This appears to be more of one of those funny random gags that Alola is known for rather than something actually serious or threatening though. But returning to the spookiness for a moment, there is another event that takes place in the trainer's school at night in the Ultra games. A little girl and her Drifloon will make you solve multiple ghost stories surrounding the school. The whole time she speaks in slow, broken text like many of the other ghosts in the series. Only for the Uno reverse card to be dropped as she reveals herself to be a student from a foreign land, which explains her poor English. But when the school security officer approaches you, the girl and her Drifloon vanish, and he remarks on how there was never anyone there to begin with. Uno reverse card again! It went from spooky to kinda funny, then to spooky again. Of course, we all know that Drifloon are infamous for whisking away small children to the afterlife, so it's not terribly far-fetched to say that the little girl was indeed a real ghost, but her story remains a mystery. In the Galar region, although there is yet another ghost girl, that being Paula, who asks you to deliver a letter to Frank and Bal and Leia, only for it to be revealed that Paula passed away a long time ago, it's not so much of a mystery, seeing as how Frank does explain the rest of the story. It's just yet another in a long line of ghost girl encounters in the more recent Pokemon games. Other than that, the Galar region doesn't have anything particularly spooky going on, but there is one major mystery that nobody has been able to figure out yet. Where is Victini? When the Crown Tundra dropped last year, data miners revealed that the mythical Pokemon Victini was present in the DLC's coding, and was coded to be a static encounter somewhere within the game, similar to other legendaries in the Crown Tundra. However, many tried but could never find the trigger to make Victini appear in the game. Many tried winning the Galarian Star Tournament countless times and visiting other areas associated with victory like Hammerlock or Winden Stadiums, but alas, Victini was never found, meaning that this is probably just leftover code for an encounter that was planned to happen at some point during development. The newest version of Pokemon Home also shows the Victini is unobtainable in Sword and Shield, seemingly suggesting that this was the case. Game files for Sword and Shield also show that there's an unused area to the left of the Crown Tundra, probably a Liberty Garden-like location where Victini was meant to be encountered. More than likely, they just weren't able to finish this area on time, and that was the reason why Victini's encounter was scrapped. I know that's not the spookiest way to end this mysterious video, but nonetheless I hope you enjoyed and have a very happy Halloween. Be sure to subscribe and like the video if you made it this far, and I'll see you guys next time.